Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have some exclusive news that you can't miss. So get ready because there's a lot of important information coming. Before we start, we'd like to take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and stay up to date with all the news about our Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which really strengthens our fan community. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news. 5 players who could reunite with Dan Quinn on the Commanders in 2025. Dan Quinn learned some hard lessons during his time as head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. When a second opportunity with the Washington Commanders arrived, the respected figure wanted to surround himself with people he trusted. Quinn reached out to several coaches and players to smooth the transition. They knew his demands and embraced his coaching methods. They helped others buy in and ensure the Commanders hit the ground running under his leadership. What followed was nothing short of astonishing. The Commanders defied the odds to secure 12 regular season wins. However, it wasn't a Cinderella story for Quinn. He wanted more. That mindset has permeated the locker room throughout Washington's incredible cultural shift. The Commanders went on the road to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Detroit Lions in the playoffs. They eventually lost in the NFC Championship game, but that sleeping giant woke up much sooner than expected. The Commanders are an attractive destination once again. Quinn's inspirational leadership is something players want to be a part of, especially those who have experienced it before. This could lead to some more familiar faces joining the ranks over the next draft period. With that in mind, here are 7 players who could reunite with Dan Quinn on the Commanders in 2025. Players who could reunite with Dan Quinn on the Commanders in 2025. Commanders could sign Cooper Rush. Marcus Mariota did an excellent job in 2024. The Washington Commanders knew they were drafting a quarterback with the number 2 pick. They needed a reliable veteran to mentor their rookie and step in at a moment's notice when needed. Mariota did both with aplomb. He was a strong support system for Jaden Daniels during his rise to stardom. The former Oregon standout also played well when called upon, completing 77.3% of his passes for 364 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and an 87.9 QBR. He also rushed for 92 yards and 1 score. Given the projected weakness of this year's quarterback draft class, a situation could arise where Mariota gets an offer to compete for a starting spot elsewhere. No one would begrudge him that, so the Commanders should find a capable replacement to ensure no momentum is lost. Cooper Rush has had some decent efforts against the Commanders in recent years. He's accurate, mobile, and experienced. He's also familiar with Dan Quinn and boasts the guile to deploy Cliff Kingsbury's scheme effectively. In an ideal world, Mariota will return, but his strong performances this season and his exceptional leadership won't go unnoticed by others in the league. Commanders could sign Chauncey Golston. The Washington Commanders need to improve their options in the trenches. They had enough to make it to the Final Four, but those areas of the field have been found wanting against the NFL's elite more often than not. This has more significance on the edges. The Commanders took a big risk by trading Montez Sweat and Chase Young before the 2023 deadline. While the players acquired afterward were solid enough, Washington needs an explosive starter and improved depth in its quest to get over the hump. Speculation is rampant about a bold swoop for All-Pro defensive end Myles Garrett. While that can't be completely ruled out, General Manager Adam Peters may be thinking more methodically. And after the remarkable progress under the new regime, there needs to be confidence. Chauncey Golston is someone Dan Quinn knows well from their time together on the Dallas Cowboys. He's seen plenty of reps in 2024, recording 7 sacks and 37 total pressures, according to Pro Football Focus. The former Iowa standout may not be the flashiest signing, but he could be an asset to the rotation. Golston may not have lived up to his third-round billing just yet. However, he's still young enough to develop further under the guidance of Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. The Commanders could sign Brandon Cooks. Jaden Daniels is a superstar. He's the franchise-caliber presence the Washington Commanders desperately needed. Those in power should maximize his rookie contract and surround him with the improved weapons needed to further excel. The Commanders have a legitimate number 1 alpha in Terry McLaurin, who has thrived as a consistent quarterback to earn second-team All-Pro honors. That won't be enough, especially considering the uncertain statuses of Noah Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus, and Diami Brown. Brandon Cook's power is waning, but he could be a potential short-term option if the money works out for all parties. Injuries haven't helped his cause in recent years, so this wouldn't be anything more than a cheap one-year deal given his trajectory. It's been 3 seasons since Cooks even came close to the 1,000 receiving yards he achieved with the Houston Texans in 2021. Asking him to be the number 2 might be a stretch, but there's nothing to suggest he couldn't be a reliable complementary piece in that scenario. Dan Quinn and Cooks overlapped with the Dallas Cowboys in 2023. This would be one of the more surprising options on this list, but it may take the veteran a little less time to join a legitimate contender. Giving him fewer responsibilities and picking his spots could also pay off if there's still enough left in the tank. Commanders could sign Osa Odigizua. Washington's interior defensive line received some substantial financial and recruiting investment under the previous regime. The group didn't live up to expectations, which gives general manager Adam Peters some tough decisions to make this offseason. Johnny Newton shined enough as a rookie to suggest more could be on the way. Darren Payne's contract looks like a tough out. That's not the case for Jonathan Allen, whose future is under a cloud with 1 year and no guaranteed money remaining on his deal. If the Commanders decide more is needed, turning to Osa Odigizua in free agency wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. The interior force is reportedly well-liked by head coach Dan Quinn from their time together in Dallas. His 60 total pressures ranked 3rd among qualified defensive tackles, something Washington has been sorely lacking for long stretches in 2024. Acquiring Odigizua won't be cheap. The former UCLA gamebreaker is projected to command an annual salary of $20.99 million on a 3-year deal and $62.97 million in free agency, according to Spotrac. That's expensive and would almost certainly spell the end of Allen's time with the franchise. Quinn knows what Odigizua brings to the table. The player would jump at the chance to reunite with his former defensive coordinator. Fans should keep an eye on that. Commanders could sign Brock Hoffman. The Washington Commanders could be without one of their most dominant offensive linemen for most, if not all, of the 2025 season. General manager Adam Peters must adapt accordingly to find a comprehensive solution to that problem. Sam Cosmi tore his ACL during Washington's sensational divisional round triumph over the Detroit Lions. It was a blow to the body that quickly became painfully felt in the NFC Championship loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. It will be a long road back for the Texans' product, so contingency plans should be in place. Someone like Brock Hoffman could be an option for the Commanders. He's an early restricted free agent, so the Dallas Cowboys could take that option off the table with minimal fuss. If they're not completely sold on letting the versatile interior presence test the market, that's when Washington could strike. Hoffman has experience at right guard or center. He allowed just 1 sack in 515 snaps last season, and his 68.9 run-blocking grade from Pro Football Focus is another encouraging sign. The former undrafted free agent isn't a world beater, but he would be a reliable backup until Cosmi is ready to return. The Commanders can't leave anything to chance in their quest to provide Jaden Daniels with the protection he needs. Whether it's Hoffman or someone else, upgrades to the starting unit and depth are crucial.